Hey all, it is Teresa from Teresa's Spot for Art, where I love sharing art from my heart and teaching you how to create a little joy in your life through some fun and simple quick art projects. Today we're painting this fun Christmas stag deer or a buck, whatever you want to call it. I'm mixing some true blue and some white, and I'm just going to start working on the background. I want to go right around my traced design and get a nice background going. I want to add some texture by adding a little bit of white to it, and we're just going to fill in the entire background. We're going to start on the bottom with this true blue, and we're going to work our way up. We're going to add in some of that fun bright green. It's called Irish moss. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. I have a companion to this where I painted a doe using the same colors. So now they make a pair. It's really cute, so you can look on my channel for that. That's another Christmas deer painting. I painted it live, so it'll be in another playlist, but it is in one of my Teresa's Painting Tutorial playlists. So again, I'm just going in. I want to make a nice line so I don't get any on my deer. It's okay if you do. And I'm just filling in with this blue and a little bit of white on my brush. In this case, I'm going to be painting the edge of my wrap canvas the same as the front. Sometimes I leave it. Sometimes I painted something really fun. It depends. Depends on the mood. Depends on how much paint I have left over. I'm really not particular about it. Now with a dirty brush, I'm going to dip into this fun moss bright green color. And I'm going to start blending it in. Let me get around this ear first. I'm going to start blending it in to the blue. And then as I work my way up, it's just going to be this beautiful bright Irish moss green color. I love how these two look together. And we're just going to finish the background on this side. Get a nice blend going in there. I don't worry too much about the background. We're going to have so many details going in on this one that if it's not perfect, it is totally okay. We're going to be putting these giant polka dots and some snow. So if there's something that you don't like, we'll just hide it with the polka dot that we're going to put on with the big 1-inch dauber. So I'm going to flip to the other side, get my edge, and continue with filling in around the antlers and around his ears with this beautiful green color. We want to get all in and around his antlers up top. And let's get this side of the edge of the wrap canvas here too. Nice blend in there. Like I said, don't worry too much about the background because we're going to be adding so many details to this. I use my brush standing up on the chisel edge when I want to get nice and close to my design. And I'm just going to keep working it in. Now we have a combination of some browns. We're going to have some burnt sienna. We are going to have some fawn, some honey brown, some burnt umber, a little saffron yellow, and of course we always have black and white. So I'm just getting these containers shooken up, whichever, so we can get started painting. And it's a combination of these different colors. I'm going to grab some fawn here. I'm going to paint some of these strokes for her fur in fawn, some in burnt sienna, some in the honey brown, and then some in the burnt umber. So now I'm going to grab my 1/2 inch flat brush and we're going to get started. I'm mixing a little bit of this fawn and white. I'm going to start on the snout. It can be as dark or as light as you want. I like to just add a little bit of white to it so it has a little bit of texture and it's a little bit more interesting. And although this top part of the snout and the bottom part of the mouth are going to be the same color, I do paint them separately so my brush strokes go in the direction that I want them to. So when I paint in the mouth part, I'm going to be like swooping it in there like a smile, and then when I paint the snout, I go around in a curve. Now we're going to continue and fill in all the rest of the pieces that are going to have this light fawn color. Every time I go back to the fawn, I pick up a little bit of white as well. And don't worry if you go out of the line. You can easily go back if you let it dry and clean it up with the green or the blue, whatever you have to do. So you don't get worried if we get some of the background color on the main part of our art, because we can always clean it up if we wait for it to dry when we come back with the next color. Our painting goes in steps and we kind of work from the bottom up. This way, if there is anything that we need to fix or enhance or tweak, we can as we work our way up. And then of course we add all the details at the end, and that's when you really see your art pop. A little bit of light fur here right under his eye. I'm not even going to wash my brush. I'm dipping right into the burnt sienna, and I'm going to start in with this color. It's okay. We want a whole variation of browns and tans in here. So when you're switching between the burnt sienna and the fawn and the burnt umber, you don't have to worry about washing your brush, because we're going to have so many varieties and shades going on here. Now I'm going to use this same burnt sienna and start painting in the antlers. Again, don't worry if you go out of the lines. We're going to come in and we're going to add some shading and some highlighting to the antlers too, and we'll be able to fix up anything you think you may have messed up. But really, there's no messing up in art. It's art. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it can't be wrong. Here you see me, I'm doing the wrapped canvas, and I'm just bringing the antler color around on the edges. I'm going to do this other antler. If you wanted to make your antlers burnt umber, you can. It's your art. You can totally use the colors that you want. You can even make your deer any color you want. If you wanted to make it darker or lighter, it's totally up to you. Again, I just want to bring my antlers around the top of the canvas. If you don't want to do that, you can leave your edges white. You can go back and paint all your edges one color when you're done. It's totally up to you. Now I'm going to continue with this burnt sienna, doing some of the face. He's got a beautiful mask, lots of different colors going on. When we get to the eyes, you guys you're gonna see how it really then comes to life. Do the inside of both the ears. A little bit down here on the neck. I'm going to go into our burnt umber, our darkest brown that we have here, and I'm going to paint in those sections. Again, you don't even have to wash your brush. I just went right into this burnt umber dark brown. I'm going to do the remaining sections that we have for his fur. Sometimes if I lose my nice brush, I don't want my brush to have bedhead, so I will apply a little bit of pressure to it on a flat surface, and this way I bring all the fibers of my brush together. Get it nice and cleaned up. And then this cool little streak that he has right up the center of his nose. Now I'm going to grab my liner brush and some black. I'm going to start doing some details, some of the lines for the eyes and some of the outlining. We want the black for our eyes to be totally dry before we go in and add the white, and we want our white to be nice and fresh and bright. The largest part of the eyes is the pupil, and they're really, really dark, so we're painting them in solid black first, and then we will do a little bit of detail around the tops and give them some eyelashes. I'm going to paint around the snout. I'm going to fill this part in too, nice and black. I'm using my liner brush for this, but if you wanted to use like a 1/4 inch flat, you can, or a round. Totally up to you. Now while we wait for our pupils, the center of our eyes, to dry, we're going to just do some outlining so the rest of him really pops. Now, if you don't have a steady hand, if you don't trust yourself with a liner brush, that's totally okay. You can wait for your painting to be completely dry, like tomorrow, like totally completely dry, and then use a paint pen, a Posca paint pen or some other kind of paint pen. If your canvas is not completely dry, you will ruin your paint pen. So if you want to wait to finish the eyes and add the eyelashes and do the outlining till your painting is completely dry and grab a paint pen, that is totally up to you. For me, the liner brush was one of the hardest brushes to master. I wouldn't even say I'm a master at it, but you need really, really light pressure. Your paint has to be the right consistency, a little thin. If your paint is too thick, you want to add a little bit of water to it when you're using the liner brush. This was the brush I had to practice with the most. We're just going to continue on doing some more outlining. I've finished outlining the antlers. I just want to give a little bit of outline to these little wispy fur pointy things he has up here. Just gives them a little bit more character. Gives him a little bit more character as well. And now I'm going to come in here and outline the snout. If you want this to be less prominent, you can do this in the burnt umber if you want. It's totally up to you. And the bottom of the mouth here. See, he's starting to come together now. Got a little bit of these wispies up here by the other ear. I'm going to grab some of this saffron yellow and I'm going to start adding some of these yellow highlights in here with our liner brush. I'm going to add some to the antlers. You can put yours exactly where I put mine, or you can put them where you want to put them. These are just fun little details that help your artwork pop. This is getting a little thick in here, so I just added a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of water to it with the tip of my brush. Little swoops under both the ears. Now highlight down here on his face. A little bit around here, just up by these little wispy furs at the top of his head. I'm going to get my nice fresh white and I'm going to start adding in some white highlights. Some of them you'll be able to see, some of them you won't because of the glare, but that's okay, you can see where I'm putting them. On the mouth part, on his snout, a little bit of highlight on his nose, a couple of wisps into the ears. And I'm going to use the back of my brush and I'm going to put the centers for the eyes in. Look how cool that is. 2 dots and then the little highlight there, and it just pops. Now I'm going to fill in between the black with some nice fresh white around the rest of the eyes. You want your black to be totally dry before you do this. He looks so good now. The eyes can really make or break your project. I'll be honest, you guys, I struggle with eyes. I need to really be inspired and follow what somebody else does for eyes, but it will definitely make or break your project. Now I'm using the back of the brush and I'm putting little dots of white for fake snow all around my canvas. You can put as many as you want or as few as you want. You can use a bigger brush or a smaller brush. I put some on him, some on the canvas, and I'm just randomly putting on these dots. We'll add a little bit of white highlight to his neck in here. I want this area to really stand out. I'm just pulling it in. You don't want it to be too much of a hard line. You just want to brush over some white over the fawn that's there and the burnt sienna that's there. Make it look like fur, and you don't want a hard line. Now I just finished that one little line that we had for the eye there. So I put that one over the white. And we're going to pick up a little bit of the blue and the green that we have. We just want to add a little bit of that blue and a little bit of the green to certain areas of our deer. It kind of just brings in those colors. It's nice that we have the antlers that we can work with, and just bring in a little bit of that green and a little bit of that blue onto our deer. This is abstract. It's not, true to life, and it's just fun art. And that's it, just a few little wispies of the blue and the green. And then we're going to go to our dauber. And I'm just going to randomly put some green dots. And then I'm going to pick up some blue and some red and some of the yellow saffron. And just make the background really festive. Sometimes I only put a half a dot. I'm not going to put any on him, but I'm just going to put them all randomly around the background. You don't even have to wash your dauber. I'm just going to go right into the yellow now. And now add some of these yellow giant polka dots. Again, I'm just putting a little piece there. Sometimes I'll grab a piece of paper. I'll show you if I want to just have a dot, but it's not hanging off the canvas. I'll grab a piece of paper and cover up where I don't want to get paint, and then use the dauber. Now I'm getting out the berry red. Again, there's no reason to wash your brush or wash your dauber. And you could put as many of these or as few as you want. You can make it as busy as you want. Totally up to you. Now I'm going to get this piece of paper. It's just a scrap piece. I'm going to cover up my deer, and this way I can get like a half a red polka dot behind him. And then I want to take my liner brush, and I want to add a white highlight, a comma stroke, a smile, whatever it is, to every one of these polka dots. So I go in and I pick up fresh white almost every single time, and I'm just adding a bright white highlight to each of these large polka dots that I made. Now let me get that paint off my computer. Just adding these little details helps your artwork stand out. Little highlight on his nose. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed painting this deer with me. Don't forget, if you haven't hit subscribe, please do. Not only do we have him, but we also have her on our YouTube channel as well. Have a great day.